estate, dude?
It's a common emotion. You're going to buy in a unit block. You don't like big unit blocks. You want a little block of 12. Big blocks are scary. We're going to talk about why they're scary and the disadvantages and advantages of big unit blocks in New South Wales. Stay tuned.
Morning.
Oh, la, 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 la. Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you, real estate, dude.
Dude, don't call me dude.
You've
Xanth
got it
and
on your
Brala.
bio.
Yeah, it's on the bio. Hey, Xanth, we were just talking off air, and we wanted to share this with everyone today because being in DY is selling more units than Sydney CBD. So we do a lot of unit sales, our agency. There's 9,600 units that are sitting in DY, and we get first home buyers, we get investors, we get owner occupiers, and they go, I don't want to be in a big unit block. Sell me anything as long as it's not in a big unit block. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it happens all the time, and there are advantages and disadvantages of buying in a big block. But the main thing is buying in a big block doesn't have to be scary. We're going to talk through some of the main advantages of buying in a big block to help put your concerns at ease and get you more comfortable with that step and decision in buying in a big block size.
And Xanth, it's a positive emotion, I guess. Like you look at these big fortresses and you go, ugh, I'm gonna have to be waiting in the lift. I was just talking to a client yesterday about it. And he was scared about waiting in the lift for long periods. He was scared about not feeling like stairs. That's right. He was talking about it not feeling homely, like you're just in this concrete jungle. People are worried about high strata levies in these buildings, and I guess it's sort of not part of the Aussie dream. Do you know what I mean? You sort of imagine yourself, I guess, as a first home buyer or an owner occupier, just in a cute little block. You know what I mean? Something just.
Well, let's look at the way Meritan has completely, I suppose, refreshed buying in a big block size. The popularity of those, the high demand for those, the amenities, the resale value. There are so many wins, and that has started to slowly transform people's minds in buying in big blocks.
Yeah, that's just a cracker of an example. We were Meritan Agent of the Year. When Meritan DY was selling, we sold more than any other agent in the country. In terms of unit sales, there is a trophy sitting on the front of the office on the counter. Now, talking to everyone there, and part of the secret sauce that we had as agents and an agency it wasn't introducing Meritan to people. Everyone knew about it. They knew about this big block, 2 towers, 360 units. But where the magic was with us was explaining the advantages and just getting people to the property, just to see the property. Once we got there, the magic was done. And it was amazing that people just go, no, don't want a big block. And then we walked them through and they were like,
wow.
Happened.
It is even still to this day. We have a lot of clients visit the open homes from out of the area, and they reference the Meritan apartments. Do you have anything in the Meritan apartment complex? That's where I want to live.
And that's the 5 years later. That's the opposite of what the general populace was saying. Yeah.
So it is crazy. They don't have to be scary. Look, the main thing with the bigger apartment complexes is more often than not, you have more choice with the amenities that are included. So yes, there's a lift. Yes, there could be a pool complex, a gymnasium, a spa, a sauna, a massage room, all of these amazing amenities. but with more apartments and more lots in your complex, there's more of a shared expense going around. If you were to have these same amenities in a smaller complex, then your strata levies would just be through the roof. So more lot owners are sharing on those expenses.
So big blocks, scary blocks, it's definitely a real thing. Can we briefly touch on the benefits of a bigger block? Because obviously it's pretty obvious the shortcomings and why people don't want to be in a block like that. So let's talk about some advantages as well while we're here. What's Lisa got to say?
It's so quiet in those bigger blocks. So
you know what?
That's an advantage.
That's something I want to talk about quickly as well. The way the bigger blocks are built is generally stronger, harder, faster, stronger than the smaller blocks. For instance, with Meritan, once you start going above 4 or 5 stories in a unit block, the actual type of construction generally has to change. It's got to be strong. It's got to be strong. When it's strong, it's got good insulation properties. It's quieter. It's better through weather. So I do have to say, an advantage of being in a bigger block is that quality of construction is generally better. And I know people are going to shoot holes through it. You see what happened in Homebush Stadium, and out there. There's the extreme. But in general, they are. Give us some other advantages.
Well, like I just touched on, you do have more shared expenses amongst all of the other lot owners. So you've got more contributions going into the maintenance, the upkeep, the administration funds for that particular complex. So that's an advantage as well. You've also got...
Because I guess, in Mickey Mouse maths, if you're dividing it by 100 or dividing it by 10, you're generally going to get more bang for your buck when you're dividing it by 100. You don't have to employ, with that scale, there's benefits of cost. Absolutely. Next one.
So more choice of amenities. So in these larger blocks, you do have more often than not, you have more amenities. Again, referencing the Meritan as an example, you've got the indoor gymnasium, the communal gardens, the barbecue area, the pool, the sauna, the spa, everything like that. So more choice of amenities as well.
Which is huge. Any other ones?
Again, so more often than not, a lot of these bigger apartment complexes have more of a security access. You've got the secure basement parking. You might have a concierge on site, fob card to get up to your lift level. So there is a higher level of security.
Look, that's great. And look, I guess that's important. It's something that you don't really calculate until it happens. But I reckon on the back of what you just said, there's less burglaries.
Well, I would presume that. I don't have any facts or figures in front of me, but 100% I do think that would be very accurate.
Big time. Big time. What else? What else about big time?
Another benefit, look, you're living in a large complex. You're living in more of a community. It's a community-oriented complex. Get to know your neighbours, make use of those communal spaces, have a good time, socialise. You're living with if there's 360 apartments in the Meritan complex, let's just say there's at least 3 on average living in each.
Yep.
So however many that is, close to 1,000 people in that particular, I don't know, 360 times 9. 360
There's more chance of meeting a boyfriend.
So if you're single and looking to mingle, make sure you get into a big apartment complex.
get into a big block. Now, what they've actually now done, and I get people's idea, the bad stimulus on unit blocks are like nah. But I've noticed the developers and the designers and the architects have actually got better at feeling like you're not in a big block. So they segregate off hallways, they segregate off buildings to give you a feeling that you're not walking through a hospital with door, privacy. The way the entry is also better. So bear that in mind, that you're not referencing the yucky old I used to call them Russian hospitals, the big blocks.
I can
They
see why.
They were just like this big fortress with doors, all the doors the same, all the windows the same. Design elements have changed, that's for sure.
Yeah, big
What
time.
else have we got on big blocks? Locations.
Locations, correct.
Generally the big blocks are superior with locations. They don't tuck them in a back street. They're quite prominent to transport. They're quite prominent to
Yeah.
cafes, to restaurants. They're more CBD hub type of, like if you look at Meritan DY, for example, what an
Yep.
anchor of a position.
Oh, absolutely. You've literally got everything at your doorstep. You've got Woolies downstairs, all of the shops downstairs, transport to the right, beach to the left, 100%.
Anything else before we go on big unit blocks that we can share with our friends?
Look, real estate is a long game, so there is certainly great resale potential with these bigger apartment blocks as well.
And you may
Investment
find,
potential and resale potential.
yeah, I reckon your resale, you may end up nailing your resale better. Like a part of the, and I know it's hard to put your finger on it, but like again, when you use Meritan DY, those amenities that are in there and that location that it's in is very desirable for young, for old, for everybody. So
Yeah.
I think for resale, that's quite hard to replicate. To get those anchor key positions that the big unit blocks in is pretty hard to replicate. So I think your resale could be a little bit better. I definitely know with Meriton, we've achieved 50 to 60% capital growth in a 5-year period.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. Have
Yeah.
I missed anything on big blocks?
I think in a nutshell, we've skimmed over the majority of benefits. If anybody else has anything to add to that as well, please don't hesitate to send through a comment. But in a nutshell, look, buying in a big block doesn't need to be scary. There are so many benefits of doing so that we've just touched on. So when you go in, think about buying an apartment, always consider the bigger ones as well. Don't just think, oh, boutique is best. No, have a look.
Definitely have a look. Just check it out, guys. And just see if it works or doesn't work. Don't assume it's not going to work with a big unit block. So, in summary, resale value, location and convenience, management services are better, investment potential. They do get better rents. The big blocks. Meriton gets 5 or 10% more in rent in DY than anyone else. Community, finding a boyfriend, security, and the economies of scale, like your strata levies being potentially a little bit sharper, a little bit lower, because you're sharing that cost with everyone in the building.
Yeah. Boom.
That is Big Blocks from Mark Novak and Xanthony Barala. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Have a fabulous Thursday. Bye.